All right, Sharon, go ahead and take us away.
Hey everyone, I am so excited to be here with you guys to talk about something that I love, and that is live cooking shows. And the reason Chris and I were having this conversation with some other leaders is I'm sure it's no surprise to you. Virtual parties the past couple of weeks have been struggling. I know I've had some that the sales were not great, much less than what we've, gotten used to. So I think sometimes in this business, we have to kind of go with the trend and pivot a little bit. And what do people want now more than ever? And I really believe they want to be together. They like coming together, friends and family. They like seeing a catalog. I will tell you that there are some people that have never seen a Pampered Chef catalog. They've only been to virtual parties, and it's such a treat just to have an actual catalog to look through. So we were talking about cooking shows, and so many of you guys, and on my team as well, and across the company, because of COVID, are strictly online consultants, which is great. I mean, if it is working for you, that is wonderful, and continue doing what you're doing. But if you're just a little bit curious about cooking shows, or maybe you're having some struggles with your virtual parties, why wouldn't you want to just change it up a little bit and maybe do one or two live shows a month? And if you love it, maybe do 2 or 4 live shows a month, whatever works for you and your family. So I wanted to come on here and talk to you about why I love them. And there are so many reasons why. And it's funny, when virtual parties were rolled out, I had done a couple of them, and then COVID hit. And I thank God every minute that we had that as an option, because I couldn't imagine what would happen to our company if we didn't have a virtual business. So we were all able to pivot, and we were basically 100% virtual for a long time. But like I said, my parties are struggling a little bit. And my passion is the live cooking show, because I'm a people person. I like to connect. And I find that at a live cooking show, there's this magic that happens that until you've done one, you can't fully understand what I'm sharing with you, but I'm going to try to create that for you. So I went back, I would say in the summer of 20 after COVID, because we were able to do them outdoors. So that made me really happy. I did them in like June, July, and August, and a couple in September. And then it hit again in the fall. So I didn't go back again until last summer. And now I started going back again. And first of all, when you put it out there, would you like to get your friends together for an in-home cooking demonstration? We can do fajitas and margaritas, wine, cheese, and chocolate. And I first want to tell you that years ago, we used to make like 2 or 3 recipes. You might have even seen pictures going in with like 2 big bags of products. It is not like that anymore. People are busy. They want to get out of there, a quick 30-minute demo. So I'm going to tell you that now I take one bag with the products that I'm using for my demonstration, and I literally have one bag with my catalogs. That is it. And I'm making 1 or 2 recipes, maybe. So we used to have postcard invitations, no more. Now there's an invitation that you could send out, through text or email. Once you set up the party on your website, you just, the touch of a button and it's done. And the host is inviting via text or through email. So it's so simple. I do send a couple of catalogs to the hosts ahead of time, so he or she can work on outside orders, because sometimes they work in an office, and sometimes they have someone that doesn't shop online, an elderly person, a mom, a grandma, and they want to see a catalog. So I always send a couple of catalogs and a couple of order forms that you can absolutely download and email to the host or send them to them. But I will tell you that the sales at cooking shows are so, and don't get me wrong, like I have a couple of virtual parties this month that are 2 and 3,000. I'm not saying that virtual parties can have very high sales, but typically cooking shows have higher sales because they are seeing all of these products in person. I want you to just imagine someone who's never been to a cooking show. How many of you have never been? Just raise your hand. Have you never been to an in-home cooking party? Or, type it in the chat. So imagine, Kathy, great. Okay, so imagine you come for the first time. Chelsea said it's been a long time. And these products are displayed on the table when you walk in. And you're like, oh my God, I could actually try the rapid prep mandolin. Like I bring a potato with me and they're like, oh my God, this is so cool. And they've only seen it online or they watch me make a pizza. And here's the thing, guys, there are a gazillion recipes on the website. You pick what you feel comfortable with. I made a pizza 25 years ago for my family before my first cooking show, 5 times before I went out and did it. My kids were like 4 and maybe 6 at the time. And I'll never forget my 6-year-old was like, I'll buy a stone from you, mommy, because I practiced so many times so that I would know how to make this pizza. So it doesn't matter what recipe you choose. The recipe is not important. So whatever you make at home, and I don't care if it's fajitas, a pizza, something in the grill pan, whatever you feel comfortable with, that's the recipe you make. I don't give my host choices. I tell her this is what I do. For me, I have 2 options. You guys, you could just say, I'm so excited. I'm going to come to your home and we're going to make blank. Your friends are going to love it. They only know what you tell them. So one recipe, if you're really feeling like excited and you want to make a dessert, I do a molten lava cake in the rock. That's like 9 minutes in the microwave that even if you've never cooked in your life, you can make this and it's freaking delicious. So just so you know, my host gets all of the ingredients. I do not purchase one thing. I give her a list. It costs about $15 and she gets them. And I tell her, you don't have to put much out because I'm cooking. You want to put out one thing like maybe cheese and crackers or potato chips and dip, but don't get crazy. So it's not like it's costing her a lot of money to have this party. I'm making a recipe or 2. She's getting the ingredients, not a big deal. No one has ever complained to me. But when I tell you the magic that happens at this party, first of all, I love to watch, especially now since COVID. They come and they're like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. How are you? They're hugging each other. They'll come over to my table and they're like, oh my God, I haven't seen these products in person in so long. Oh my gosh, this is this. I've been to so many online parties. I haven't even seen this. It's been forever. Oh, they restyled the stones. Like it's been forever, guys, since people have had the opportunity to be in at a live demonstration. So I will tell you that I greet every single person at the door. I shake their hand. Hi, Chelsea. So nice to meet you. I'm so glad you could make it tonight. How do you know Kristen? I am building that relationship with them from the moment that they arrive. Because someone told me a really long time ago, guys, people buy in spite of you. They're going to buy to support their friend. They buy in spite of you. They book and sign on because of you. So it's important to build that relationship. And truthfully, I still struggle with building that in a virtual platform. I'm more of a person that connects with people in person. So for me, it's super easy to shake Chelsea's hand, to shake Teresa's hand. Hey, Teresa, so nice to meet you. Is this your first Pampered Chef party or are you PC junkie? So I have about 15 or 20 minutes that I spend connecting with them as they're arriving. So I have everything set up before they get there. I pre-slice the tomatoes for the focaccia pizza. I have the dough rolled out. I have everything ready. It takes me about 15, 20 minutes to set up my table so that when the guests arrive, I am connecting with them. I usually know who's going to book or join my team before the party even starts because I can chat with them. I could hear how much they love Pampered Chef. If they're looking for a side gig, they're asking me questions about what I do. So that time is so important that you spend with them before you start. But when I hand them the catalogs and a pen and an order form, and I don't use the link or a QR code for a reason, I find that when you give them an order form, they know that they're ordering. And I want them to use that as a wish list. And I tell them that because I want them to make a long list because I want at the end of the night when they come up to me, I want them to have a ton of products on there that they crossed out because I use that as a booking tool. Oh my God, Laura, I see that you were interested in blankety blankety blank. We're going to have a party so you get that for free or half off this month. So I want them to use an order form, because I have found in the past, if they use the link, they're like, okay, I'm going to get going, Sharon. I'll place an order in the next couple of days. And we know what happens, because it's no different with a virtual party. How many people say, oh yeah, I'm going to order later. And then they never do. So I love giving them an order form and having them come up to me at the end. You can have your laptop, you can use your phone. I just use an old-fashioned calculator and write it up, because the magic that happens at checkout when you're talking to them and connecting with them, everyone orders. I would say 99.9% of people order that night, which is what I want. And so many people book. And I was talking to Becky Adams. She just did a live cooking show and signed 2 people at the show. I signed someone at my show 2 weeks ago, because that connection that you make when you're looking at them in their eyes and you're talking to them one-on-one, that's where the magic happens. So that's why I don't use a QR code or the link, because I don't want them running out the door. I want that time with them. I don't want to have to chase them 3 days later, if that makes sense. So I'm going to tell you guys, the sales are so much higher because they're also all selling to each other throughout the demonstration. And it's only a 30-minute demonstration. As they're looking through the catalog, Teresa's like, oh my God, my favorite product is this rock crock. Teresa starts shouting out all the things she makes. Now Chelsea's like, oh my God, I guess I have to have this. Lori's like, my favorite is the grill pan. Oh my God, I grill all year long in that thing. It's amazing. We don't have to go out in the snow to the barbecue, or if it's 100 degrees in Arizona. Oh my God, I love the grill pan. Now Kelly feels like she can't live without the grill pan. The magic that happens in that room is so incredible. I like, even after 25 years, I get the chills, because it makes me realize how much people love our products. So if you're struggling with your virtual parties and you're like, I don't know, especially if you're new, I don't know, did I make the right decision? Am I selling the right thing? Are people bored with Pampered Chef? Are they done with Pampered Chef? No, they're not. I think the reason our parties are struggling is because Facebook is always pulling some tricks with us, and one person seeing your posts or 2 people are seeing your posts. And that's the problem. It's not that people don't love Pampered Chef. It's that I feel like they're not seeing our posts. They're not getting notifications. So I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that they have enough Pampered Chef, or they're bored with it, or it's been around too long. It's the opposite, because when you go to a live cooking show, the sales are off the charts, because they're seeing things in person. They're listening to you talk about what you love. They're tasting a delicious recipe. They're interacting with each other. So it always reinforces the belief that I've always had, that people love what we sell. They just need to see it, touch it, feel it, and taste a recipe. So I'm going to challenge all of you. If you've ever thought about trying a live cooking show, I am going to tell you, now is the time. People are craving being together more than ever. And if you're fearful that, oh my God, I don't know if I could do it, I'm going to tell you, have it in your own home first if you can. I mean, I know not everyone has a situation. Maybe you have 4 kids and you're a single mom and you just don't have anyone to watch them. But if you can have one in your own home, it's awesome, because you don't have to go into somebody else's, which I know makes people feel nervous. You'll do your first one in your own home. You'll get it under your belt, and you'll feel so much more comfortable. If you can't, ask a best friend or a family member, a mom or a sister. I'm ready to do live shows. I want to try one. Will you be my first host? Of course, someone's going to say yes to you. And even if you want to say, I'll get all the ingredients, because you feel awkward asking a best friend to host it and then give her a shopping list, pick up the ingredients for a pizza. It's no more than $10 or $12 if you're just going to do a pizza. So I'm going to encourage all of you to try one. Try one. when you see how excited people are when they get there, and here's the best part, guys. You leave the cooking show, you have sales of like 1,000. My last one was $3,000 in sales. Crazy, crazy. You leave there, you're like, the sales are off the charts. You have 2 bookings. You have 2 recruit leads. Maybe you sign one that night. And here's my favorite part. You go home. You don't have to chase anyone. You don't have to send messages. You don't have to jump through hoops. You don't have to friend request people. You don't have to send "you're a winner" to everybody. You left after 2 hours. You were there. You did your thing. You schmooze. You finished your job. You left. You have a ton of sales, bookings, recruits, or recruit leads, and your job is done. Do I send a follow-up thank you the next day? Yes. So much easier than chasing 40 members in a party that don't answer me. And then I got to, say, check your other folder and all the things that are involved in a virtual party. And don't get me wrong, I still do 6 virtual parties a week. But I think you can all understand that when you go to a live show, you're in, you're out, you're done. I don't know about you guys, but I think about my virtual parties all day long. When I wake up in the morning, I got to host coach. I got to post, I got to follow up. I got to do all the things all the time. That's how we run a successful business. All the things all the time. But when you do a cooking show, you're in and out. So I'm going to encourage all of you to try one. And like I said, if you can do it in your own home, great. If not, ask a best friend or a family member. My best friend, Marcy, did mine 25 years ago. Guys, I was scared to death. Thank God it was the winter because I blotch when I get nervous. I wore a turtleneck. I'm like, thank God no one could see what's going on under this turtleneck. It looked like I had the measles. And then the second one, the blotches were a little bit less. And the third one, maybe I had a couple. And by the fourth one, I was like, I got this. And I had a couple of index cards written out, which you certainly can, but I encourage you to practice before you go. Practice on your family so you feel comfortable and confident. The last thing you ever want to do is be reading a recipe. Oh, I got to shred this. Oh, make the recipe at home. Feel comfortable with what you're doing. That's why I'm saying whatever recipe you make in your house, that's Pampered Chef, make that at your party. Nobody cares what it is. You'll use a couple of Pampered Chef products. They'll be so blown away and it'll be so delicious. And they're going to leave there having had so much fun. And people book because they had fun. And that's what live parties are. It's fun watching you cook. It's fun tasting a delicious recipe. It's fun getting together with friends. So that's why live cooking shows are such a great thing now more than ever. So I want to ask you guys, do you have any questions or what's holding you back if you haven't done one? Because whatever fear, and I'm just randomly picking Chelsea, whatever fear Chelsea may have, or Laura, someone else has the same fear. So tell me what you're thinking.
Don't be shy, guys.
Come out of mute.
I had my first one last night.
Laura, tell me.
Yeah, no, it was good. I had a friend who wanted a cooking party. She had a lot of friends. I really simple it. I mean, I was very organized, and I did have the note cards and all that stuff. But the time I got in there, I didn't really need to do it. It was a lot of fun. I was really nervous the first time, but I was pretty happy and proud the way it went. So now I know that I can do it, and probably maybe one a week or something. But no, I did it, and I didn't.
That is awesome, Laura.
Yeah, so I finally did one after 3.5 years.
And it feels good, doesn't it? It's like when you.
Yeah, I felt like I felt like $1 million that I finally, and I passed my fear and just did it. Yeah.
Oh my God, I am so proud of you that I have the chills. That is awesome. I have a director who just did her first one. She was like, I'll never do a live cooking show. I'll never. And then she's like, Sharon, I have a friend who's asking me to do it. Like I literally talked her off the ledge for 2 weeks. She called me on her way home. She's like, I had so much fun and they loved it, like you said. Who else? Anyone else have a question or what's holding you back? Just tell me. Go, Kelly.
All right.
Oh, go ahead, Kelly.
Okay, cool. Hey, so I just did the bridal shower, but they didn't want a cooking demonstration. So I had them, a little bit of hands-on with that. But I was a consultant like back in the early 2000s, and I did the in-home parties. And then I just joined in 2020 and I'm doing only virtual. But right prior to that, I had gone to an in-home party. So we did the cooking demo in the early 2000s. But when I went to this party, they had it all set up in different stations and had the guests make this thing. Do you find which one is better?
So that's called station style. So that was rolled out, oh God, maybe like 10 years ago, where people thought it would be more fun if everyone was hands-on. I don't like that, especially now because of the COVID situation.
Okay.
I don't like everyone touching it. And I also feel like I live in New York, and maybe it's like a New York thing, but I tried it when we rolled it out. I did like 3 of them. It didn't go over big here because women were coming from work. They didn't want to cook. They wanted a night where they could sit, have a glass of wine, have some vegetables and dip, and watch me cook and taste the recipe. So they wouldn't even get up here in New York. They were like, oh, I don't want to cook. I thought you were going to make us something. So it didn't really fly here, but that was station style. And I don't know that people really do it much anymore because of the COVID.
That makes
But
sense.
don't feel like you have to, Kelly. You can go back to what you feel comfortable with, because most women would rather have their glass of wine and watch us make a recipe.
Awesome. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Who else was going to chime in?
Well, she kind of did my question was if you did stations or not, because I have 2 scheduled for next month and I've never done them before. So of course I'm scared to death, but I'm just going to be me and let it fly. But that was going to be my question. But you did mention the rapid prep with the potatoes. So do you just like bring a couple potatoes and let people play with it while you're cooking?
1 potato I bring. I show them the settings on the back. Not everyone will come up and play with it. There's usually like 2 people I find at a party like, oh, can I try it? Otherwise, I just show them. But as they're coming in, I always say, feel free if you want to play with it. And I'll usually get like 2 people and I'll just show them, oh, you could do shoestring potatoes or you could slice the potatoes. And if you don't have a potato in your house, bring something else, just anything.
I love it. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'm super excited. So tonight is really helping me a lot. Thank you for being here.
Oh my God, my pleasure. And if you ever want to message me and, as you're getting ready to go, the day before, if you have any questions, I love what I do when I'm in, that is my space and I love it. And I am telling you, the most important thing, guys, is you want to have a strong opening. And that's just literally sharing your story, and not for 10 minutes, for like a minute and a half, why you started, why you stay. You want to thank the host for inviting you in their home, letting them know, because some people don't know what you get for hosting a party. I want to thank Laura for inviting me into her home. I'm so excited to be with you guys tonight. Laura's going to get a huge shopping spree. So Laura, I want you to make your wish list and make it long, because you're going to have a fabulous party. You're going to get free, half price, discounted. And then I also wanted to tell you about the best thing we sell in the catalog. And then I open it up to the kits in the back. And I talk a little bit about the business opportunity, because now you've planted the seed. Because there are people sitting there, guys, that only came to support their friend. They can't afford to buy anything, or maybe they're that person that spends $10. So that person has the ability that night to have their life changed by you, but only if you tell them about the opportunity. So I always in my opening talk about the business opportunity and how life-changing it's been for me and my family, and how if you're looking to make some extra income, it's the best thing we sell in the catalog. I have had people, I swear to God, that have stared at me throughout the entire demo, didn't interact, didn't say a word. I didn't know what they were thinking. And they'd come up to me at the end during checkout and they'd say to me, Sharon, the whole time you were talking, all I could think about was how I need this business. And I was making a mental list of who was going to be my first couple of hosts. Thank you so much for sharing what this business did for you and your family, because I'm a single mom, or they would tell me their story. So I feel like we're doing an injustice if we don't talk about the kit in the strong opening. You talk about the benefits of hosting, the business opportunities. So now when those people want every freaking thing that you showed them and everything that their friends are talking about that they have and they can't buy everything, they're going to remember that you said that that host is going to get a ton of stuff for free and discount. Now they're going to be like, I think I have to have a party because I want every single thing that she showed me. So if you didn't tell them what they get for hosting, that some people don't even know. I've had people say to me, oh, I didn't even know you get free stuff. Sure we do. So yeah, very important to let them know what a host gets and to talk about the business opportunity. So that's what a strong opening looks like. And then at the end, when you're checking them out, I ask every single person, Kelly, did you ever think about doing anything like this? I always ask the hard question first. And sometimes Kelly says to me, you know what? I always have. Well, what's stopping you, Kelly? This month you can join for as little as $49. And if Kelly says, oh no, I love Pampered Chef, but I have, a full-time job, 5 kids, I homeschool, whatever the situation, then I'll say, Kel, you have so many things on your list tonight. We got to have a party. I want to get you that grill pan that Shauna was talking about for 50% off. Does this week work or that week? And I have my book with me. So I always go for the hard question, the recruiting question first, then I go into the booking, and then we check Kelly out. And one last thing with the wish list and why I give them all the order form is I say to them, guys, I want you to use this order form as a wish list. Anything that I talk about that you're remotely interested in, write it down. It doesn't mean that you're buying it, but this way at the end of the demo, you're not going to say, what was that first thing that Sharon showed me? I can't remember the name of it. So just make a running list of everything that you're interested in. And then at the end, you'll cross out what you don't want to get and you'll purchase what you left. And I do that so that when they come up to me at checkout, I see these long lists. And that's when I say to them, we got to have a party. So that's the method behind the wish list. I want them to make a long list. I want them to see how much they want and how much they'll get for free and half price and discounted. Anyone else have a question?
Yeah, that was gold.
Really good, right? So good.
I have one more question.
Sure.
When you said the thank you, when you're doing that thank yous, are you personally like calling them, texting them, sending them a note? I'm wondering because it's a little more personal when you're actually getting to know people on a personal level in a cooking party. So I'm just kind of curious how you do it from there.
I'll say, hey, Kristen, it's Sharon from Pampered Chef. It was so nice to meet you last night at Kelly's party. I just wanted to let you know the party will remain open for the next 2 days. So if you wanted to add anything to your order, because I don't submit the orders until I'm done because a lot of people add on and I only keep it open for 2 days. So it's not like I'm sitting on the order for a week. So if you wanted to add anything on, just let me know. And, Kristen is one booking away from, a bonus gift of, I go into the $50 thing if you wanted to help her out. Because lots of times people will go home and think about it and say, you know what, I will have a party. So you may get a couple of bookings there, but you also want to just give that last reach out when you thank them. So yeah, it's just, thanks. It was great meeting you and asking for the booking and letting them know they could add on. You'd be shocked at how many people add on when they go home and they think about it. They're like, you know what? I should have got that blank. I don't know why I was so cheap. I should have got it. I really wanted it. And then they added on.
So there's a couple questions in the chat, but to follow up on that one too, though. So do you reach out to them at all then after the fact? Like they give you their order at the show and then you're going to close it 2 days later. Like, is there any other communication or that's it?
So it goes into my project broadcast. And then 2 weeks later, when they get their products, they get that typical message. I don't want to embarrass myself, but my assistant does my project broadcast. So I don't know any details on that, but I know they do get 2 weeks later, did you get your products? Did you take them out? Do you have any questions? Do you need any recipes? That kind of thing. So yes, but the initial one is from me directly when I thank them, it was a pleasure meeting you, that kind of thing. That's a text that I do to all the guests that are there. And on a great party, if there's 20 people, it's a copy and paste kind of thing. So it doesn't take me long at all. And I do them usually the next morning.
That makes sense. Okay. And those could be automated with project broadcast too.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the fears or like things holding back in the chat that I think is a really good one to point out is like, what if no one shows up? Like Yeah. What do you do?
Okay. So that's a real fear. I remember having that. And I would be lying to you if I told you in my 25 years of doing cooking shows, that didn't never happen to me. But the good thing is, if that happens, the host is so embarrassed, I leave them with catalogs and they get orders. Don't worry about that. And they have the link as well. But once you get seasoned, and you guys, even if you've never done cooking shows, you've been consultants, and even if you're a virtual consultant, you get what I'm going to say to you. You control, just like you control the amounts of people most of the time that are in your virtual party, because you partner with your host and you coach them to get to that 30, 40, 50 people, whatever you like in your online parties. It's the same with the cooking show. When I book the party, I will say, Kelly, a great number is 20. So you definitely want to invite like 50, because not everyone will come. Well, what if there 50 people come, Sharon? I go, well, we'll both have, great shows. I'll make a lot of money and you'll get a ton of stuff for free, but 50 people are not going to show. And she laughs, but I say 20 is always the magic number. So you definitely want to invite like 50. And I will tell you, if they invite 50, sometimes they'll get 15. People have activities with their kids or they're working. They're not getting 50 people. So I tell them that we want 20, and then I coach to that until the day before the party. So Kelly, how is it going? How many yeses do we have? Some people RSVP on the link because I use that textable invite from the party page and they have an opportunity to RSVP. But I always encourage my hosts to follow up. Who haven't you heard from? Blame it on me. Say the Pampered Chef needs to have much food to cook. Doesn't matter. I'm still making one pizza, but they don't know that. So I work with that host so that that doesn't happen to me. That happened to me early in my business when I didn't feel comfortable. I felt like, was I being pushy, asking her to follow up? No, it's our business. Just like we do it with our virtual parties, we work with that host to fill that virtual living room. It's the same thing with a cooking show. You partner with your host to make sure that when you show up that night, there's at least 10 to 20 people there for you.
So can you expand a little bit? We have more questions on the pre-party host coaching. Like, do you do a host coaching phone call, or is it over text or messenger? And then can you just share a little bit more, maybe what you do to help with attendance?
Yes. So the first is always a phone call when I book the party. If I booked it at the party, like I booked 2 at the last live one that I did. So I had a moment alone when they were checking out with me, and I would tell, Teresa, here's a couple of catalogs, here's a couple of order forms. I'm also going to send you a link. I just want to let you know that tonight, as you saw, Mary had about 20 people. That's a perfect number. I will have that conversation there. If it was someone that I didn't book from a party, then the way that'll work is I will call that person and I will say, I just need, 5 minutes for you. Does tomorrow work? Or you want to call me on your way home? Because millennials don't like to talk on the phone, as you guys know. So I will always say, I just need 5 minutes of your time. I just wanted to give you some tips to have a successful party. Let me know when it works for you. So on the way home, she'll call me and I'll give her the same spiel. Here's what we're looking for. I want you to have a hugely successful party. I want you to get tons of stuff for free. Here's how an in-home party works. It's a little different than a virtual party. And I explain what I'm looking for and exactly what I just told you guys. And then the rest is via text or messenger. It's only one live call that I have with them because I want to hear the hesitation. If I say 20, I want to hear if she says, oh, that's no problem. Or if she says, oh, I have a tiny apartment. Like I need to get a vibe and a feel for what she's feeling. And you can't get that in a text or a Facebook message. So I do have one phone call. If you're someone listening to this saying, I don't want to talk to anyone on the phone, you can do it in a voice clip, but I want he or she to hear the excitement in my voice. It's different. I just want them to hear that excitement. I'm so excited to come and pamper. Your friends are going to love this. It's going to be amazing. Is a pizza good? Or if you guys like to make rush hour fajitas, you can say, are the fajitas good? Whatever recipe you're making, I'm going to make that. Your friends are going to love it. You tell them. You don't give them a choice. I've had people say to me, I was on the Pampered Chef website and I saw this amazing recipe, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, that's not a good demo recipe. I have no idea if it is, but I want to make what I want to make and what I feel comfortable with. So you take control of the recipe. Don't give them, carte blanche. Yeah, and the rest is done via text or messenger. You just want to make sure that you have a full house when you get there. So you just text them, how's it going, Kel? How many yeses do we have? I haven't gotten any outside orders yet. Were you able to share the link with all the people who aren't able to attend? Yes, I sent it, but I'm going to send it again. Usually a live cooking show will have $200 or $300 in orders before you get there. Because think about all the people that do say no. You want to encourage your host to send that link. So sorry you can't make it, Shauna. They have amazing new products out this season. You got to check them out. Here's the link. And they get a ton of orders before you get there that way. But again, they don't know unless you tell them. So always encourage the outside orders with everyone who couldn't make it. And then when I leave that night, I always tell my host, hey, Shauna, you're at, $960. Make sure anyone who canceled last minute, and there's always some people who had a headache, whose kid was sick, make sure the people who canceled last minute, just send them the link. You'll always get the guilt orders from the people that canceled that night. And they do.
I love it. Okay, so I want to be really respectful of your time here. A couple, like 2 final questions. One is, because some of these I can answer. Because I was curious about this too. Like, what if 20 show up and you make 1 pizza? Like, they go hungry.
Okay, can I tell you? 1/3 of the women say no. I never turn down food. I'm always shocked. 1/3 of the women like, no, I ate, or I'm on a diet, or I'm, celiac, whatever it is, or I don't eat peppers, whatever recipe you made, they're not all eating it. The hostess always puts something out, whether it's crackers and cheese or vegetables and dip or hummus, whatever. So they're kind of picking on that. So by the time the recipe comes, even if I didn't give them a slice and there's more people than pizza, I cut it into little squares. We're not feeding them dinner, guys. It's just a tasting. That's all it is. So don't ever let the host say, can you make 2 pizzas because I have 20 people? I promise you 1 will be enough. They all ate dinner. They're just stopping by to enjoy the company.
Yeah. And
Sure.
if you do the lava cake, you have that. Like, if
Oh,
the host
yeah.
is really concerned, I'm like, buy a couple bags of Caesar salad, like, and we'll just like mix it all up and throw it out. Like, it's not a big deal.
Don't worry about it. They only know, guys, what you tell them. Feel confident in what you're selling them. Don't worry. 1 pizza is enough. Just put out, vegetables and dip, or because they'll always say, well, what should I put out? Don't go crazy, because you don't want the hostess putting out a buffet, because then no one's going to book. Oh my God, look how much work Kelly had to do. She must have spent a fortune of money. I always say 1 thing. That's it. They're going to come from dinner, right? You don't want to put out more than 1 thing. I'm making a recipe. It's all good. Women are always watching their weight, not eating half the time. Don't worry about it. We're going to be golden. Yeah.
So it's more like, guys, think about it, like, they're not coming to like eat a full dinner and you're going to demo a full dinner. It's like
1 recipe, maybe
Yeah.
a lava cake if you feel comfortable. Maybe by your 3rd show, you can make a dessert. But your first 2 shows, 1 recipe that you feel comfortable with.
Yep. Like a taste.
Okay, I want you to make my night. How many of you are going to try a cooking show? Put it in the chat. Sue's raising a hand. Kelly's raising a hand. Oh my God, they're all doing it. They're all doing it.
I love it. I love
And
it.
promise me you're going to reach out to me if you have any questions. Between Kristen and myself, we'll walk you through it. You're going to kill it. You're going to love it.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Sharon, for
Oh my
meeting
God.
with us tonight.
Oh my God. I'm so excited to be able to share with you. I'm so happy to be here. My pleasure. I look forward to meeting lots of you at National Conference.